Hello again, Struckpop, welcome back. This is part 2 of today's stream. I'm gonna quickly reset the cache of the chat window. But yeah, part 2 of my stream for today. There was a little bit of Vast Epoch earlier, and now we're gonna do a little bit of Wolcen, just for some variety out there. I will be playing the Summoner Havoc build as I was the last few times I streamed Wolcen, but maybe I will do some more experiments. I mean, last time I did quite a few experiments with different passives, and we did figure out some builds that can go together with this setup that are kind of different. So maybe I can figure out a way to get away from Havoc Corp and maybe use Gunslinger's brand, or maybe go for a more willpower mage oriented setup next. So I will be testing stuff. Uh, right now we have projectile based setup. So this projectile based setup would probably go well with spells as well. But the problem is I'm going for rage regeneration instead of willpower. But that doesn't that's not a problem that much. I can still probably get one attack instead of plague burst and maybe use the fireball and have fireball be the main damaging skill maybe. We'll see. I want to figure out a way to make this more mage centric, less attack setup with projectiles. So we'll see. If anyone has any ideas, feel free to suggest those. I will do a couple of runs the way the build is now, just for warm up, and then I'm gonna start experimenting with stuff. First of all, town. Let's check my town.
You are welcome here.
Let's see if there's anything for affinity. Nothing for affinity. I've got 217,000.
Of course, my lady.
Alright, I'm gonna spend 100,000 on affinity, and next off maybe some reagents, red wastes, heavy armor, accessories, yeah, that's what I want.
So, what'll it be?
Okay, if anyone wants to join me, I could probably team up with maximum one person to carry them. I don't think it's gonna be easy for me to carry for more than one more person with me. Cause this is, yeah, not the meta setup. And this is the helmet I was upgrading yesterday. I was hoping to get cooldown, I was hoping to get, what's its name, transfer time, but I couldn't. So all I got was a little bit of more elemental resistances, attack speed and agility.
Excellent. Come back
One
soon.
thing I will do is I will try and quickly add something. Please don't remove the elements or the resists. There we go. Now give me... Oh, it removed the cooldown. Shit. Oh, now it's kind of a bricked item. Kind of a bricked item. I mean, I can still keep it just in case, but bricking items. Been doing that a lot lately. Is there room for one more item somewhere here? I do have a normally one-handed dagger, by the way. A normally one-handed dagger. This would be on the upgrade queue. This thing I need to upgrade. And I need to get a Livor Mortis shield now. If I have the dagger with anomaly. So one of the things I've got, thankfully, from the things I need. Okay, I need to get rid of something. I will get rid of this item.
Ah, a customer. Welcome to my humble stand.
So let's do the warm-up run. The warm-up run, 163 warm-up run without untainted enemies. Switching from one game to another, different skills, different hotkeys. It's always nice to make a warm-up run. So this is the pew 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 setup. The rocket spam. It's so nice to be fighting behind obstacles. Not seeing what is going on. Alright, let's go down the rabbit hole. Did you see what's there? An omen. I wonder if I can catch it. Did it escape? Oh no, it's here. And wonder if it's gonna escape. Oh, it didn't escape. Nice, we got it. We got it. Okay, so let's see what it dropped. At least that's money. At least it's money, if nothing else. You can never have enough gold in this game when it comes to upgrades and stuff like that. Let's get this boost here. Ailment chance score. Nice. Pretty decent one. I'm pretty happy with the survivability I can get with this setup. The damage may not be top-notch damage, but it can suffice to farm the best items I can get in the game. Even if it's not on 187s and if it's not super fast. Also, I did get some decent XP yesterday. Not much. Not much, as you can see. I only got this for a few hours yesterday, for like 4 hours of my slow pacing farming. So far we've not heard anything regarding whether they're planning on reworking the XP. Most likely they never will. Which would be weird if they're forcing people to level up all over again when they introduce seasonal content in a few months. It would be weird to have this speed. But by then many things might have changed regarding how strong the enemies are, how strong we are, how strong certain skills that are currently underpowered are. Can't wait to see the chains, the Alucard chains skill getting boosted. Wrath of Buffet, can't wait to see Infinity Blades boosted, can't wait to see, what's its name? Slayer's Worry getting boosted, another skill that's a favorite of mine, animation wise and sound wise. With Slayer's Worry at the moment, no matter how much bonus damage I get, it's never gonna be as good as even this skill, and that's not a meta skill that I'm playing, so I probably get 10 times less damage on Slayer's Worry than this one. So definitely something went wrong there with Slayer's Worry, and can't wait to find out what it might have been. Most likely just the numbers, they probably did the wrong numbers, the wrong percentages again. As you can see, the bonus damage on the skill is 6% on the nodes, on the damage nodes, which is pretty low. Like, it's probably the skill with the lowest damage bonus nodes. Alright, let's go get the boss. And Brat, nice to see you, Brat, on my channel, and I'm glad that you're enjoying my videos. I'm always open to suggestions in what builds people would like to see. They can give me skills, and I can try and make builds centered around those skills. And I do that on stream. I do that on stream a lot. I let my viewers ask me to use a certain skill, and then I can try and rework my setup to be centered around that skill and figure out ways to make it strong. Even if it's not a meta setup for min-max super speed, supersonic farming, it's still gonna be at least a setup that maybe can do 163 if possible. There are some skills that are super underpowered, and I don't suggest playing the max difficulties with those. But with others it can be done. Not as OP as Bleeding Edge, but it still can be done. Today would be another one of those nights when I'm experimenting and when people are free to suggest skills they would like to see me trying to make a build centered around. Let's see what we can cook up today. Okay, nice. So maybe another one warm-up round before changing my build. One more warm-up, and then we'll see what to do next. I think I want to upgrade something. I think this needs to be upgraded. Please give me something good like damage. Actually, I'm gonna force it to give me. If we're lucky, it's gonna give me toxic stuff. If you're not lucky, it's not. Let's see. Material ailment chance score. I mean, it's not bad. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. I still would rather have some flat damage, because right now we have 4 stats, neither of those is flat damage, so not much usefulness out of this. So I'm gonna gamble and try. Hope I don't lose the anomaly bonus. I didn't. Well, another gamble. Let's try with bleeding. Please don't lose the anomaly. Ah, come on. Give me flat damage. And it's bricked. It's bricked.
Greetings, my friend.
No,
How
I
may
don't need
help
it.
you?
I mean, it's gonna be useless if I have the anomaly and it's not giving me flat damage. It's not gonna do much damage at all if it was like that. I needed at least one flat damage so I can try and add 2 more with the upgrade to
Your
legendary.
patronage is appreciated.
So what am I gonna upgrade next? I could get slightly better item than the other one, but I don't think so. This is 194 and 99%. Not possible to beat with that one. So I'm probably gonna start crafting some rings. Might start crafting some rings. Actually, this thing. Or maybe... Just looking for something to upgrade, I can't decide what. I'm gonna upgrade this quality.
What can I do for you today? Perhaps something from the dark market.
And
you thinking of sending the
Abyssal
seekers
Rift.
today? Somewhere dangerous?
Such a journey is not a simple affair, but with the necessary precautions.
Are you looking for me?
Okay,
Of course
next.
you are. Got plenty of expeditions to choose from. Pick me up a souvenir.
Ah, a customer. Welcome to my humble stand.
Let's go in. Nice. Come on, there we go. Oh, 300 affinity. I'm loving this. And the sword. Oh, I forgot, I should have done this Wrath of Saricel run, an Untainted run. Because I do have the affinity to do those now. Alright, next. Nice. Shit tons of explosions at the same time. Kill this one or should we pull it? We can pull it to the boss fight. At the end, might be a bit better to save it for that. Okay, explosions. Oh, it stopped following. Well, I'm gonna go back for it. I really wanna try a purely elemental setup as well. There are some passives, I'm not sure how well they would work, but there are some fire elemental passive setups I wanna try. Probably without Immortal Offering, but we'll see. It's probably not gonna be a great one. Because the thing is, when it comes to attacks, there aren't many for fire. There's Bleeding Edge for fire damage as a rage dump. We do have Sour Fall with fire, we do have this thing can go fire, and we've got Fireball, the consuming embers. And we do have Arrow Swell that can go fire, but it's not good for a rage dump because it has a good, big cooldown. You can't use a big cooldown skill for a rage dump.
That's not happening.
I really want to try some more mage-centered setup. Dick Rackstruck, thanks for introducing me for this game. Do you have a good way to farm the trial belt? I have tried to farm it for a long time now. Well, Dick Rack, I'm not sure what to tell you about the trial belt. There is no sure method for farming it. Some people farm it solo by rewogging and just visiting those story mode merchants, the side guides. Some people farm it in a group. In a group, one person finds when you find the NPC, if you have two people, when you find the NPC that sells unique items, you can log out, one of you, and the other one stays next to the NPC, and then it would reset the items, so it would be selling different items, which means you would have a new unique item to choose. But even this is not a sure method, because it could take you 6, 7, 8 hours and you can still not get the trial belt as an option to buy from the NPC. So, I mean, the drop rates are terrible. When it comes to this belt, the drop rates are terrible. I haven't found one myself. The one I'm using was actually given to me, so there's probably no good method for farming it other than doing that exploit with the shop. Oh, people said that it's still possible. People said that it's still possible to farm it with the NPC. Just that it only shows one item instead of two. And people are saying you can also do it solo. If you like Google solo farming the trial, or the trial belt solo farming, something like that, you should be able to see it, but it's slow. It's much slower doing it like that rather than with two people. As I said, I've not tried doing it, so I can't tell you whether it really works, but people are saying it still works. I'm just the messenger here, relaying what I've heard.
Not happening.
So I'm happy that there's no regeneration anymore. So happy that there's no regeneration. It makes weaker builds still be able to complete some of the content that they were struggling with. Making the game a little bit more enjoyable without a meta build. Okay, enough of the warm-up. Now next off, what build should we do? As I said, I want to do something more mage adjacent, more magey.
Ah, welcome. Was there something you wished me to find?
Whitening Sacred. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not that great either.
Oh, there you are.
We have a number of diplomats ready to embark on any mission of your choosing.
What are you looking for? A new weapon, perhaps?
Okay, let's put this there and let's put this there. And this here. So if I want a mage setup, first of all, I've never tried using Oracle of Trinity. So would that meteor be strong? And would that frost ones be strong? I'm assuming chain whitening and frost ones would be thunderstrike and what was the frost ones, and Arctic Spear, and meteor would be Tear of Ethelio in a way. So that's 17% chance on the fire, 25 on the ice, and 25 on the whitening. Casting speed, force shield regeneration, casting speed, elemental resists minus HP, elemental resist minus HP. What's in this place? This is the willpower generation. This is actually pretty nice. I used to use it on my paladin sometimes. This one is super difficult to make sure it's proccing, I think. Up to one accord can be active concurrently. You have 20 damage for that. That's fire. The first one is fire, maybe. Increase your crit chance, gives me damage and gives me element chance. I'm assuming Ethelio might be the ice one. Because Tear of Ethelio is by default an ice one. Abanazar is probably the fire, and the whitening is probably Beomalik. It doesn't seem worth it though, only for 20% damage or 50 element chance score or 50 crit chance score. And that's score, it's not the real thing. Whitening damage, whitening damage. This seems to be centered towards whitening stuff. And this one here, I know that one. I know that one. I've tried this one and I couldn't get it to give me much damage. This is supposed to give you 5% damage for every curse stuck on an enemy, which would be up to 30 stacks if you're going for an ailment stuff, and that's still a lot of damage, like 150% more damage, but I still couldn't get that to be super strong. And there's another 2% that you can get, so another 60%. So 210% damage for an enemy with max curse stacks. Maybe we can try doing something with that. So if we're doing curse, we have the trial, we have infinity blades, and we have before what I was saying, that is a weak skill Slayer's Fury. It still hasn't been fixed. This is still 6% weapon damage. Still weak. This is also Curse, Shadow. Curse Shadow. Thinking of something more elemental. What else can we do with elemental and projectiles? Completing an active dodge turns you invisible. While invisible, the damage of your next skill cast is increased by 30% using a skill breaks invisibility. Cooldown of 12 seconds. Super long cooldown. So the invisibility is for 5 seconds and now it can be 10 seconds. I don't think that's gonna be fun with 12-second cooldown. It's not something for farming, for spamming stuff. Life's first movement. This is one of the hardest things to make a build around. One of the hardest things to make a build around, and it requires so much concentration. You have to constantly balance some things. And using spells and attacks, and yeah. So I'm gonna stay away from Duskglaive, I guess. But look at this shadow damage. And more willpower and rage. Well, let's respect. Let's respect my passives and go for it. So I will try to make a shadows setup. Shadow setup. Let's see. It's gonna be super hard to go into this one. I really wanna get this one. And that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12 maybe. So if I'm removing curse stacks, I'm getting cold resistance. Just a second. So this is the stance with the dodging. With the dodging, block chance, block efficiency. Double attack damage at the cost of 25 of all your basic attack damage. Never mind. I'm gonna get this one here. And then we're getting this one here. And then there's something I probably wanna get, the residual energy. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. Willpower on hit. Well, it's super difficult to decide what to go for next, but if I go that way, I'm gonna be able to spend some points here probably. But let's do it like this. Residual energy, and now 8 points. I really want to get this one. So this is crit chance score for spells and attacks. I could probably go for that one right now. There's not anything else that I can get to boost my damage as much. 2 points. I could get this one, but that's gonna be so slow. I'm gonna be super slow when using this one. Or maybe more blocks. What's my block chance right now? %73. Okay, more block and maybe a little bit more block efficiency. And now Slayer's Fury. Infinity Blades. Wife Leech. Okay, let's try it. So this is a test, and since my skills are not leveled up, I'm gonna go to 133 first. And Horn Reaper said I can't invite people anymore when I'm in game, only at menu. Could be bug as well. It could be. They nerfed the... Yeah, they did nerf the NPC to sell half the items, but it's still able to... People are still able to farm things from that NPC.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I'm not liking that speed. And the damage is super bad right now. So for this, what do I want to get? Increase the damage of the next attack after using the skill. That's gonna be nice. Yeah, the damage is super bad right now. I mean, those hits of up to 50,000, they're just... I can't compare that to 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 damage with the Havoc Orb. Even though they're probably getting done quicker, just can't compare it. Can't compare it. And I had to sacrifice a lot of crit damage to get this much, and my crit score is super bad. And this 6% weapon damage is just not worth it. I mean, it should be 60%, not 6. And this also doesn't work. I wish I could see how many stacks an enemy has got on them, because I don't think that skill even works probably. What's its name? This passive. I don't think this passive works. Occult Affliction. It probably doesn't work. If that worked, this would have been much higher than the numbers I'm seeing. Because I think even without Occult Affliction I would be seeing kind of the same numbers. Because that's supposed to be up to 210 damage when an enemy has 30 curse stacks. And just by my curse I'm afflicting them with a ton of stacks, like 10 stacks or so. 9 stacks. And there's a chance to double those stacks, so getting getting 30 curse stacks shouldn't be a problem with this setup, not with having so many curse skills. I mean, okay, let's get the damage higher. Let's get the damage a little bit higher now. I'm sacrificing my mobility skill just to try and get more damage out of this. Also, why is this not triggering? Furrying Flames. Let's see if it's building up.
I need a breather.
Oh, it's building up, never mind.
Can't manage that right now.
82,000, this is super bad damage, 82,000.
Not right now.
I'm thinking a lot of stuff is broken right now. So Slayer's Fury, one of the skills, as I said, needs a buff. It does need a buff. And an easy buff for them would be to just fix those damage numbers from the weapon damage skills, from the nodes. So if this is 60% damage and if this is 60% damage, it should kind of be nice for the skill. Every time the skill is recast, yeah. Barely worth it for 200 average damage.
That's not happening.
But if that gets boosted, I can make a non-hybrid version of the setup and have it be pretty nice.
Not happening.
Let's see just the Infinity Blades damage. Infinity Blades doesn't have bad
I need more
damage,
power.
but it's still bad. I mean, compared to Have a Corp, compared to Bleeding Edge, compared to Anvil's Woe, compared to many other things. I know I don't have spell damage bonuses, I know I don't have ailment stuff right now from the buffs. But even then, look at the damage, it's just 20 something thousand. That should be 200,000, not 20,000, so the damage should be 10 times more than what it is right now to be viable. Even this doesn't work, people have confirmed that this doesn't work.
That's not happening.
And this is broken as well, because this is converted to Shadow, but the buff I'm getting is Aether. Or at least that's what it says. Let's see. So, buff, Aether and Shadow. Okay, okay, so it gives me Aether and Shadow damage buff. So it's broken in a way that it's actually better. This should give you Shadow or Aether damage bonus to you and to nearby allies. The bonus granted should depend on the base. But at the moment I'm getting both bonuses, cause look at that. 0 Aether, 0 Shadow. Then if I do this, and then if I do this,
That's not happening.
interesting combo.
I can't do that right now. Not happening.
But this is just a 10 million HP boss, cause I went for a lower difficulty. This on 163 maps would be the next test.
My lady, there have been some developments in your absence. Perhaps you should take a look.
The dark market? Never heard of it. My contacts are waiting for your word. Greetings, my friend. How may I
Okay.
help you?
So yeah, all that science, all that testing. I really want to use the whitening version of this skill. Increase the area of effect of the damaging vortex. Where can I see the area of effect with the increase? So I want to see the area. This is the area without the increase. With the increase. Now if I remove the increase. Wait. Oh, it's the damaging, not the... Okay, I see, I see.
I need more power.
But the cool damage is increased and it doesn't go well if I do the other way around. So increase damage, crit chance. I'm gonna boost the average damage. And yeah, let's try 163 map, just to see how quickly I can kill a boss without leveling my skills to the max.
I can't do that.
Much slower than the Havoc core build, that is for sure. Actually, I'm gonna do one more thing. I don't want the wife leech. I think my wife leech is enough as it is. I'd rather get movement speed from the shouts.
That can't be done.
Alright. Oh, I forgot Pious Striker. See, I forgot something crucial for the setup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. I can probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Losing that 30% damage, but it's fine. It is fine if I do it. Because without Pious Striker, we're just losing a lot of damage. 15% of the damage is kind of lost. Executing enemies earlier triggers the chain explosions earlier, and yeah. So after this I'm gonna go and respec again. I wish I could use this as a dash to dash forward, even if there's no enemy to attach myself to.
It's not possible.
But yeah, the damage is much lower than the other setup with the Havoc Corp. But it's still something that can do 163, just kind of slower. Now when there's no what's its name, no regeneration mod, you've got your Shadow Assassin, Shadow Spellblade, or whatever you wanna call it. The Shadow Battle Mage. Nice hybrid setup. It's the setup I wanted to try for so long. And I'm not even using Rage Mage Legs. But I can use Rage Mage Legs. But if I use Rage Mage Legs, I'm not gonna be able to use Anomaly if I get rid of the Catalyst and use Shimmering Shadows. And Anomaly is such a great thing to have. So the best way to play this is a dagger with Anomaly and Rage Mage Legs. You're gonna lose a lot of resistances if you're using Rage Mage Legs, but you're gonna be able to use Shimmering Shadows for extra shadow damage. Oh, sorry, my voice meter crashed, so just a second. Need to shut it down. Not sure what's happening, but yeah, voice meter suddenly glitches out, and until I switch it off and restart it, I'm hearing that distorted kind of audio. I'm paying for this software and it's still getting glitchy.
I need a breather.
And I didn't have this glitch before I bought the software, so not sure what happened between the free version and the paid version of the software. But yeah, that's gonna be fun setup with the Rage Mage Legs, which I do have and I can test it, but I need an Anomaly, a good dagger with Anomaly. Good dagger with Anomaly, then Shimmering Shadows for extra survivability and shadow flat damage would go a long way. But I'm not gonna be able to use the golem, so there's that as well. But if I have a regular shield with the golem, or dagger with the golem and regular shield with anomaly, again, like the other build with the Hava Corp, I need one-handed weapon, preferably a dagger and a shield. And the two together should give me access to Livor Mortis and Anomaly. The rest I can get. This is usable with a dagger. This is usable with a dagger. And they're also usable with the shield. So even if the weapon is a pistol, it's still gonna work as long as I've got the shield. So even a pistol would be fine. Any one-handed weapon would work, honestly, for this setup. As long as I can get a weapon and a shield with Anomaly and Livor Mortis. The best would be a shield that gives me access to both of those, so I don't have to sacrifice some of the damage things from a weapon. And if I have enough Genesis Stones, I can do it. If I've got enough Genesis Stones, I can make yellow shields with only one mod. So I can use Abyssal Tears on yellow shields with only one mod, and then start using on each of those yellow shields 3 times Genesis Stone to try and get Livor Mortis and Anomaly together. I wouldn't care about how much block chance, how much block efficiency it's got, as long as I can get both of those skills slammed on the same shield. That way I wouldn't need to worry about a weapon with it. But that's gonna require a ton of Genesis Stones and a little bit of RNG work. And a lot of shield bases to experiment with, as well as abyssal tiers.
Can't manage that right now.
And I keep forgetting about Infinity Blades to give myself that extra buff. But the damage is far from perfect. The damage, as I said, if this is 60% and this is 60%, the damage would be nice.
It's not possible.
Not meta damage, but it would be much better than this shit damage that I'm getting here. Like, I couldn't get it more than 80 something thousand with all the buffs and with max rage and all of that. But if you have 120% damage on it, then that's gonna be at least 200,000 damage per hit, which may not be much, but for 163 it should be more than enough, knowing that you can get super boosted attack speed. So I just need Fire Striker now to be able to execute the enemies with explosions. So the next thing I'm gonna do in the town would be that. And again, I'm not sure that one of the passives I'm using even works. Imagine if this passive is not really working, the one that gives me up to 210% occult damage. If it's not working well right now, that means I'm losing 210% damage. And that 210% damage would be what the build might need to push the damage numbers to a nice state, this thing. If anyone has information whether this works or not, feel free to share it with me. Because that's a lot of damage right there. Up to 210% damage with 30 stacks, 30 curse stacks on an enemy. And as I said, just the Mark of Impurity itself gives me 9 stacks. So the other I can easily afflict with what's its name? Slayer's Fury, because with this attack speed, this is without the 150% attack speed score from Furrying Flames, which once we start in combat, within a few seconds we get this maxed out without a problem with Anomaly and other things. You can see bam, and it's already done.
It's not possible. Not right now.
Oh, someone kind of knocked me back.
Can't do that.
Well, they knocked me back. I've got dash. If only Slayer's Fury was actually benefiting from dash attack bonuses. Dash attack bonuses, where were those dash attack bonuses? I think there was some here. Crit chance of dash attack. So if this was applied to Slayer's Fury, it would have been amazing, but it isn't. It isn't.
Not possible.
But I could probably make this as a build. As a build that's gonna get boosted eventually, hopefully. Especially if this gets fixed. If this gets fixed, this would be strong. It would be so strong. Because at the moment I'm using it as a Slayer's Fury main damage source together with the explosions from Mark of Impurity. I'm not using this, I'm only using this for buff right now. This means that I need 2 points more to get this one. I'm actually gonna even do this. So here at the moment I've got 4187. Yeah, this damage bonus does get added. But does it apply to every hit of the combo of Slayer's Fury? Because this is how I'm gonna be using it. Increases damage of the next attack after using this skill. And this is the next attack. And also grants me a Shadow or Aether, but at the moment, as you saw, it is Shadow and Aether. This is getting nerfed when it gets fixed, so keep that in mind. You're gonna be losing some damage. Because you can't get Shadow and Aether when the skill gets fixed. Like I do right now, getting both bonuses. But yeah, I need to get the Pious Striker. I need to get that extra damage. Let's move now. That was a long map, but I'm doing a lot of science here, a lot of testing. Thankfully there's no regeneration mod, so can't be happier than that. Just need the 15% HP execution and I will get it for the price of 30 damage, which is fine.
It's not possible.
He keeps getting knocked back, but I can keep returning with the blade skill, with the Slayer's Fury.
Not right now.
Although this requires a lot of APM, you have to keep paying attention to your skills, and if you want to keep the buffs up at all times, it's gonna take a while to get used to it, because I have to keep using Infinity Blades to get the buffs. And from what I've noticed, this buff this buff lasts for less, or maybe no. This one lasts until I do an attack. This one lasts for a certain few seconds, but this one is until I do an attack. Look at that, it's not disappearing. Until I stop, maybe. No? So maybe that's the one. And that's for the next attack. Or should I attack an enemy with it? Let's try and find an enemy, just to see if this buff would go away. Because I think that's this buff for the next attack. Ah, there we go, so it's gone now. And it only applies on the first hit, so it's not really great. It's not a really great thing because it only applies on the first hit. The way they should make it is to not disappear until I finish my combo in Slayer's Fury. Okay, let's go back and respec. So do I? Oh, I don't have enough affinity. Please tell me you've given me affinity. 14,000, nice. So I have to remember the same setup, but instead of points here, points here. Which means I probably don't need this, this, and this. And I can grab. And it's difficult to sort everything. I mean, I still have to go that way. I can't go that way because that's 1, 2, 3, 4 points. I hope I don't forget anything, but let's do it. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Here, I'm really not sure. Did I didn't have this one. I remember I didn't have that one. So what are we missing other than this thing here? I'm missing something important, but I can't remember what. I mean, 9 points, that's a lot of points I'm missing. Oh yeah, I remember. And now there's 3 points, I can't remember where I had those. Rage and willpower maybe? Crits maybe? Crit damage, crit chance. What if I go for 3 times crit damage? Because I don't think I'm missing something that important. I've got the stacks. 30 stacks. I've got occult damage. Occult element chance. I might have had this one, Fatal Pact. I could have had Fatal Pact and occult stuff. Oh, I put them in block last time. I put them in block. Okay, and block efficiency probably. I remember taking this block efficiency and maybe this block chance. Well, thanks for that. I'm gonna try less block and more crit damage. So crit damage here, crit damage here, crit damage here. So I've got some extra HP. Or should I go for crit chance score instead of one of the crit damages? Maybe overall crit chance score. Right, let's check my toughness. 48,000 HP. But thanks for that hammer, though. Thanks for that, for letting me know. Wait, how did I get a 5-star quality armor? Was that the one I was upgrading? I think that's the one I was upgrading.
You have a
But it's
good
level
eye.
109. So I just wasted a lot of gold and affinity on upgrading a level 109 item. Well, unlucky, I didn't pay attention. Oh, look at this. Crit damage, flat attack, all attributes. I wanna upgrade this. Need gold. This is something that can end up being great. I can try and use the Genesis Stone as well on it later. Oh, new pink dye. Not gonna be able to use this if I use a pistol. Okay.
Please, come again.
Okay, another map
is
in a
what they're
moment.
trained
Just
for, right?
wanna
Come in.
start crafting
There's no
stuff.
need to be
Greetings, my lady. There are caravans standing by. Give the word, and I'll prepare a security detail.
So I probably could use some crit score. Instead of crit damage. And this block efficiency, I probably didn't need it. So let's try and get the other attack speed. And their juncture together with more stacks. It's not letting me click unless I scroll. So the 6 points I had before were I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, a lot of new stuff I've never used before. I mean, I've used this before one time only, but it did work out nice. So I've got 75% attack speed score on crit, and I've got this that gives me up to 200% attack speed score.
Let me guess. You want a contract?
Let's do 187 boss fight.
Pick me up a souvenir.
Not right now.
Okay. I'm not doing enough damage to wife leech much without anomaly. So there's that. And he has an occult shield, unfortunately. Yeah, this is gonna take a while.
Not like that.
Yeah, if Infinity Blade and most importantly Slayer's Fury gets both, this would be such a fun setup to play.
I can't do that.
And that's without getting ailment buffs. Because it's a boss fight, I don't have much sources of ailment buffs from Immortal Offering. So what's that? 90 million HP on this one. Definitely far from a meta setup, but it's the Infinity Blades Slayer's Fury setup that I always wanted to make viable even before the game launched. I always had an idea of playing Infinity Blades with Slayer's Fury as a kind of similar to the Rage Mage setup, but Shadow Assassin. What's my attack speed right now? %. That's very low attack speed. On the other build I was reaching things like 63% attack speed, so what could be missing? Oh, never mind, it's much higher, it's 70 something percent attack speed. 74% attack speed, okay.
Hi there. Left.
Okay, let's see if anything fun dropped. This one's actually super nice.
You have a good eye.
What if I remove Infinity Blade? Infinity Blades and add add this one.
Oh, it's you, my lady. There are plenty of
Bows?
missions prepared. Just
No, I
give
want
the order.
Affinity
You are welcome here.
and Goat.
What are you, what? Oh, sorry, my lady. Where are you sending the Seekers then?
So yeah, a lot of experimentation has been going on, but I'm happy with some of the results I'm seeing. Just want things boosted. Like seriously, imagine this being 60% and this being 60%. Is gonna be so much stronger. I wanna see something. What? Oh. So that's a bug I didn't know. I'm pressing number 4 and it bounds it to number 4. But if I press the mouse it doesn't. I mean it's okay to have it, but it's kind of messing with my setup. I wanna see the average damage. how it changes if I recast it. It stops. I can't monitor the damage right now. I don't think this works. I don't think this works. Does it have to hit an enemy to proc this? But in theory what this means, as long as you keep channeling the skill and it keeps recasting it, it should give you more and more and more and more damage. I mean, we're gonna put it to the test against an enemy.
What do you
First
want?
let's sell though.
Please, look around. I'm sure you'll find something that takes your fancy.
%98 all resistance score on this item. Such a nice base. Ooh, look at this base. 987 flat. Let's see, transfer resists. I mean, mine is much better, but if someone wants some of the things I'm selling at any time, let me know before it's too late. I can always buy it back. Let's see, this, this. Oh, already 20 entropy orb. Okay, entropy orb stuck. Now let's go. 163 again, just don't want it to be super slow. Greed Shrine, oh, am I really gonna get the Greed Shrine when I'm playing this build? This makes me wanna change my setup to have a corp just for the Greed Shrine. Or maybe I can change to Bleeding Catch just for the Greed Shrine. I have to do it. I have to go to the dark side and go for a Bleeding Catch setup for this. The problem is even if I go to a Bleeding Catch setup, it's not gonna be as strong. Cause yeah, a lot of things are missing. But let's do it.
I can't do that. It's not possible.
But yeah, come on, Greed Shrine. Ah man, I messed up this shrine. I couldn't get probably a single chest on time. See, only got a few. I should have gotten Blink. I should have gotten Aether Jump. There we go. Well, I missed one chest, but okay, back to Slayer's Fury. Which is not here, I guess. Slayer's Fury. I forgot to use Anomaly at the start. Should have used it more. But still got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 chests. Even with this random setup. And an interesting sword. Still only 2 times flat, so nothing too fancy. But 2 Genesis stones, this is worth it. This is totally worth it. The 2 Genesis stones. This is also quite a nice one. Crit damage, flat rent, all resistance score, material resistance score, and 12 all attributes.
I can't do that right now. It's not possible.
I'm just testing the damage, because it said if recasting in a short time the damage goes up. I'm seeing higher numbers already, but I'm not sure because the skill leveled up. But I'm seeing damages over 100,000. Not sure if it's because of the shadow damage buffs I'm applying with Thunder Strike,
Not happening.
which should have been also kind of equal to the buffs that Infinity Blades was giving me as well.
No.
But 112,000. I think that's how I do it. I change targets and go from one target to the other. And that's how I get the higher damage, I think. Is that 40 something thousand or is that 400 and something thousand when I switch targets? Probably 40 something only. $30,000. But earlier I saw 100 and something, so it is possible to get it over 100,000, but not as easy. What about this? This is 14,000, 13,000 on the lightning, on the thunder strike. Alright. A lot of science, but yeah, Slayer's Fury, I still stand behind what I've been saying for a few weeks. The skill needs a buff. Or fix, or whatever you wanna call it, but it's not strong enough to compare to any of the other melee skills. Like, take any other melee skill and it's gonna do more damage. Blade Storm, Anvil Swow, Bleeding Edge, all other melee skills can do much more damage than this skill does per second. Of course, they don't cost as much rage per second. If you keep holding the button, they cost much more. I'm fine if they increase the rage cost of Infinity Blade. First of all, Infinity Blade can't go anywhere near the AoE of Bleeding Edge. It can't go anywhere near the damage of Bleeding Edge. It can't go anywhere near the AoE of Blade Storm or the damage of Blade Storm, and the same applies to Anvil Swow with the modifier for Kono AoE. So this is the weakest of all melee skills you can get in the game right now.
Not right now.
In any aspect, AoE aspect, damage, direct damage for a single target.
I can't do that.
And this should be the skill that has the most damage out of all melee skills, because it has the least amount of AoE. Even when modified to hit adjacent enemies, it still can't go anywhere near the other ones I've listed, so kind of sad to see this skill being like that. It being my favorite melee skill in the game, animation wise. But again, I said I'm not sure whether this passive even works. Because next off I'm gonna try a build without this passive. I'm gonna take everything the way it is. And I'm not gonna take those 2 points. And I'm gonna leave the points unallocated, just to see if I can see the same damage numbers.
Not possible.
And I'm only talking about the Slayer's Fury damage numbers, not the others.
Not right now. I need more help.
Okay, buffed up. Now let's see the damage. But this enemy definitely has 30 curse stacks on it right now. No way it doesn't. This cannot have stack. See, this is the perfect example of showing you how that is broken. Because this enemy doesn't have curse stacks. The Houndstone cannot get stacks on it, cannot get ailment stacks on it. If I'm doing the same amount of damage to the Houndstone as I'm doing to the other enemies, then it doesn't work, the passive. So that's 210% extra damage that I'm losing from the build because it's broken. Either something's completely wrong with the computation, or I'm kind of blind and I'm not seeing the difference. Which could be the case. I mean, I've been blind many times about certain things in games. Let's see, I'm just experimenting again. Alright, let's kill him now. Come on, devs, please fix my favorite skill to be strong. I want this to be... I don't even want it to be as strong as Bleeding Catch. I want it to be half as strong as Bleeding Catch and I'm still gonna be fine. Because look at this average damage. This is with buffs. When the buffs are over, and this is gonna be much less, like 4000. There you go, 4000. What level is it? I mean, it's not maxed out, it's 51, I agree. This needs to be boosted. You can't have 0.3 against 1.0. This one was 2 point something if I remember correctly. It's max level, I can't see. This one was also close to 1 point something. This is 1.5. Even this is 0.8. Even this is stronger than Infinity Blades. I'm gonna show you now. I'm gonna play with the chains instead of Infinity Blades so you can see the difference in the damages that I'm talking about. Even for this skill. What level is this? This is 57, so only 8 levels difference. This is without the buffs. So now let's buff myself. Come on, give me more buffs. I wanna stack more buffs. I also don't need to be doing sacred here. Look at the crit chance score, 80%. Weapon damage, 50. This one gets 17% weapon damage from its passives if you go for the weapon damage passive. This can negate this, and you've got crit damage passive as well. Even without buffs, I managed to get 100 and something thousand. Let's see, double with the double rage from
Not right
double
now.
damage from over 150. See, 100 and something thousand, 200 and something thousand. When you have over 750 rage for the double damage. So this is probably my second favorite melee skill, animation wise. But I still love Slayer's Fury much more. So let's play with this a bit, I guess.
Can't be done.
But look at how much rage this uses up.
Not happening. I need more power.
And that's without taking rage on kill. If I take rage on kill, things would change drastically for this. And let's change it to sacred, because you know sacred in theory should benefit from this. So this occult affliction should work for the chains when you're using sacred. So let's get rid of the 17% and maybe get rid of the crit damage. Although with enough crit score you can even not use this one for that. But let's do it like maybe attack speed. Not sure how much attack speed this gives me, so I've got enough. I've got 275% attack speed from my passives when this is maxed out. 275% attack speed score, quite nice. Let's see. 69%, 74%, so yeah, plenty. I mean, we're fine. So much better than the one, but again, I'm not seeing the damage increase, the 200 and something damage increase, but it should be on enemies inflicted with curse stacks, and it should be based on how many curse stacks an enemy has on them. And I can tell you, I should be inflicting curse with the Mark of Impurity, at least 9 stacks. 9 stacks should be 9 times 7, just from the Mark of Impurity. And when I include this one and this one into the mix, it should be much better. And when there's the chance of doubling, so that's 18 stacks I can inflict just from Mark of Impurity with 50% chance. 50% chance to get 18 stacks instead of 9, just from the mark. So that by itself should be giving me a lot of damage. And one thing is for sure, while I have those two buffs, my major damage
Not happening. Not right now.
So you can see my shadow damage in here.
Not
1900. So that's like my third best damage type. Close to my second best. That's without even putting shadow gems. If I put shadow gems, I should be able to make sure that my attacks inflict a ton of that. A ton of curse stacks. So yeah, I'm thinking this skill really is broken.
I can't do that right now.
Otherwise I should have been seeing a big difference in the damage numbers.
I need more power.
Alright, let's go back to Slayer's Fury. Just check the difference in the damage. The AoE is much weaker and the damage is much weaker. This skill needs such a big boost. Like, I'd say this 0.3 attack damage increase should be 1.3 or 0.9. I mean, the chains were 0.8. The chains, which are one of the weakest melee skills with this section. Probably the weakest in this section overall. 0.8. So that's probably some of the things they can increase to add a boost to a skill without changing the modifiers. To increase the base skill rather than increasing modifiers damage. But I still think, first of all, the modifiers on Slayer's Fury shouldn't be 6%, but maybe 60. And then this 0.3 should be at least 0.8 to be on par with the chains. But probably more, probably 1.0 or something. Because the chains need a buff as well. The chains need to be at least 1.6. Twice the damage it does right now. That's what the chains needs as a base. And Slayer's Fury needs much more than twice the base it does.
I need more power.
Because it can barely do 100,000 right now. Most of the times like 40, 50, 70,000. And if I switch to Bleeding Catch, you're gonna be seeing the difference. Just with this setup, with Bleeding Catch, I can do, what, 500,000, 600,000. So that's like 10 times the damage I could do with Slayer's Fury. 600,000. Just with this setup that's not even made for a Bleeding Catch. I mean, it kind of works okay with it, but you know, on bosses it's gonna get much better if I keep building the stacks on a boss. Right, let's finish this map and switch to something different. I'm even afraid to try a pure mage setup, because that's gonna be even worse. But I wanna try a pure fire mage. With anomaly and a golem, of course. But without an attack to give me a dump, it's gonna be a bit difficult. But Bleeding Catch would be the best fire dump. If you want to focus on fire, Bleeding Catch can go fire. You can use it as a rage dump if you don't want it to be the main damage skill. By the way, did I get more levels here? With 2 more points I'm gonna be able to teleport behind an enemy. But in the beta, teleporting behind an enemy was very clunky. It teleported you in the opposite direction of what you're looking. It didn't teleport you behind the enemy. So if I was on the left side of the enemy, it would teleport me on the right side, but I would still be attacking on the other side. So if I'm attacking towards the enemy, it teleports me behind him and I'm still attacking this way. To the north, let's say. So it's weird.
Not right
Okay,
now.
let's get some lifesteal in the mix. So it doesn't even rotate your character to be facing the target, which mostly in MMOs and in other games where there's assassins with dash attack that's teleporting you behind the target to be backstabbing, you switch your aim, your character starts facing the target, it backstabbed, it teleported behind, and here we don't get our aim rotated, so I'm teleporting this way, and my target is here. Let's say my target is here in the middle, and I'm doing a dash attack, and I'm getting teleported here, and I'll be attacking here, and my target would be here, so my aim doesn't get changed towards the target. So this is something they definitely
Tell
should
your
fix, because it's
friends,
super
your
weird
others stand in the
to have
palace
such
to
behavior
see.
in the skill. Okay, next. I needed Genesis stones and I needed shields. Is that 163? It is. So let's remove one thing, let's remove another thing, let's remove the third thing. Let's add sockets.
Anything can look better with the right gem.
Have a corp? Okay. I mean, it's not the worst. What did I get? Seriously? It gave me elemental resistances from a Genesis stone. This is just such BS. I mean, I just wasted a Genesis stone and all it gave me was elemental resistance score. Is that even on the Genesis stone? Well, okay. I'm gonna be using this shield for experiments.
Please look around. I'm sure you'll find
Let's see
something
if
that
there's
looks of
anything else to
us.
collect here. This is a good base. I mean, crit chance not the best I would want, but should probably start doing Wrath of Saricel runs.
Wish my contacts to find for you.
Where are you thinking of sending the Seekers today? Somewhere?
Greetings, my lady. There are caravans
Vote.
standing by. Give
Where's the
word,
affinity?
and I'll
No
prepare a
affinity.
Plenty of eager Seekers waiting for your word. I almost wish I was going with them.
Ah, welcome. Was there
I can increase the item
something
quality
you
of
wished me
something.
to find?
But of what? Maybe this. A cool damage chest
You are
piece for
welcome
cool
here.
damage build.
No. The dark market, was it?
Back again.
Not here.
Fantastic.
Here.
Feel like sharing any of that magical energy you've got?
She wants my magical energy. Okay. I can share
You
it.
have a good eye.
Should I try and make a good item out of this? Please give me Wife Leech or crit damage. Crit damage. Give me crit damage. Wife Leech from Sacred? I mean, okay, I guess. Maybe I'm gonna have some Sacred damage in the mix. One try to remove the Wife Leech. Okay, Wife Leech from Physical. Remove the Sacred. Okay. Okay. I guess I guess that's what we got. No abyssal tears. Let's go.
What do you want?
Oh, I actually wanted to respec, right? What would be next? I want the fire build. I want tier. I want solar foe. Plague burst. I want pure fire. Consuming ember. So this I want to make into gradual damage.
We'll talk later.
Do I really need this? I'd rather get the crit chance. Here Maciej Kazmarek. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this. I don't know how to pronounce it, so sorry if I didn't do it right. But I'm fine, thank you for asking. How are you? As you can see, I'm experimenting, testing different builds. Testing different builds, trying to find builds to make videos about. So a lot of things are getting tested. I'm not gonna get the rage regeneration this time. In fact, I'm not sure I even wanna go this way. Oh yeah, I do wanna go this way. For this. Since this is not casting speed, I'm not gonna be taking that right now. So we're doing projectiles, meaning back to the ammunition build. I'm not gonna take this point right away, maybe later. So projectiles. Want crit damage. Do I wanna try this one with the meteor? And if I do, would it be worth it? What does that mean? that means I can have two at the same time. Triggered accords remain locked for 1 second. Up to 1 accord can... Okay, so... So we're gonna get spell damage this time instead of attack damage. And... do I want to get the projectile damage? I want to get the crits. And this is probably the fastest way to get the crits. And then there's crit here and crit here. That's 1, 2, 3 points, 5 points. But I don't think I've got enough crit chance. Crit chance right now, spell crit chance 41. I also want the projectile spears. Maybe that's the best thing to get in this case. One, two, three, four, five, six, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 maybe. Right, let's try it like this. I mean, I really didn't want to get the attack speed. Such a wasted thing to get that attack speed. If I approach this from that side, would have been different. Anything for casting speed for elemental damages. This one, spell casting speed. Okay, that's not what I want. Well, I'm gonna go for this thing. But this damage, I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather do this. Let's do this. I can always respec again. Now let's try 163, see how it goes. You're watching my crafting guide because you weren't sure how it works. Well, feel free to ask any questions, Machi or Masi. Feel free to ask any questions regarding the crafting if it's not clear.
That's not happening.
Oh, I'm using the wrong potion. Wait, wrong potion. Well,
That can't be done.
I kind of messed up. No, I can't get willpower now. I need to find a way to get it going.
Not possible.
Okay, this works. And at the moment this is not doing anything for me, and so is this not doing anything for me. Because attacks, well, I'm not doing attacks right now. This on the other hand probably is better, because it's gonna give me lightning damage to spells and crit damage. Might as well go for crit damage. So I'm gonna need a second willpower potion. I forgot to buy one from the city. Alternatively, I could get an attack. I could alternatively get an attack to just dump rage.
No. Not happening.
This setup would really need some cooldown reduction for the tier if I wanna be a burning mage.
Can't manage that. I need more power.
Damn, I need that willpower.
I need
So
more
right
power.
now the best choice would be to do this. Just to dump my rage. No, it won't be this. It would be Havoc Orb.
You've been outmatched.
I don't think there's anything better than that for dumping, because I don't have a dagger with spells bonuses.
That's not happening.
Oh, what's this? The court. Abanazir's Accord.
Not right now.
So 2 willpower potions probably could work, but I think I would still need an attack to dump stuff. I really wanted the fire plague burst just to stack all the fire skills, but that's not gonna work well.
Not right now.
So Abanazir is bonus damage to all skills. For how many seconds? For 5 seconds. So this is triggered with fire damage, I guess, right? Or maybe not. Abanazir is triggered with ice. With fire and... Wait, why am I triggering the same one? It makes no sense. Oh, because it's all fire. Let's see ice. Ice is Ethelio, as I suspected. So I'm not gonna be able to use Bleeding Catch, but I can use the turret for dumping stuff. And I can use it as whitening and get another Accord in the mix.
I need more power.
Oh, I just figured out a way to use the turrets as bombs instead of that, and it's gonna work better for this setup because I'm clustering the enemies. So bomb turret instead of duration, instead of element damage, I want the exploding. This is what I want.
Can't manage that. I can't do that.
Did I set it up to have 2 turrets? Maybe I don't need 2 turrets, I just need 1. Let me just check how it explodes. Okay, turret bomb. Weird weird builds all over the place. That's what I like to try and find, the weirdest possible builds ever. The turret bomb. And that way I'm gonna be triggering the whitening accord. I mean, it's far from effective build. It's far from a meta build for sure. Because I can't dump the rage quickly enough with the turrets. So I can't spam fireballs. So a boss fight would be the real test, but I can tell you right now, fireball feels super weak damage wise.
Not right now. That's what
Fireball definitely feels super weird with this little damage. After the skills are ideal. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted actually. I wanted the damage over time.
I can't do that. Not possible. I need more power.
So ideally I would have a dagger so I can use bleeding catch to dump my rage. This is all I want. I don't want bleeding catch to be the main source of damage. I want it just to dump my rage, and there isn't a better thing to dump your rage except bleeding catch. I mean, Havoc Corp is fine, and it's probably what I'm gonna end up using in the end, because with this little rage I can't get it to work with this little rage dump from Avenger Auto Turret. Alternatively, what else could dump my rage quickly? Let's try the strings. Can the strings dump my rage fast enough? Nope. Super badly dumping the rage.
Not possible.
But I'm loving the Pyromancer setup. Just need to add the rockets to the mix. Can't think of anything else that would help the setup other than the rockets.
That's not happening.
Of course, 2 willpower potions would be a big change and would help a lot.
Can't be done.
So Pyromancer. Which way do I go? I think I need to go over there. Oh! Pet aggro. think once the game gets very balanced and I figured out the synergies between
My
certain
endurance
things,
is waning.
um, they would work well. So I can figure out the builds now and then wait and hope for the developers to balance out and boost the weak skills, give them more damage and so on. This is the fire setup. The fire elementalist setup. So I'm wondering what what's happening with those meteors that are supposed to be falling from the sky from the passive. Is it even working? Like, I should have 17% chance when doing damage with the fire skill to get a meteor falling from the sky. Not seeing this. I'm just not seeing this. And I intentionally didn't make my skill to do meteors and to be falling one by one. Let's see. Someone needs equipment. Well, after this map, I can give him some items. I'm the one that keeps hoarding gear. I keep hoarding gear that may not be perfect, but may end up becoming the perfect item if you work out on the upgrades. I just can't handle all the upgrades that I wanna do for all the items I've got. I wish we had better income of money and affinity in the game, and I wish we had more than 5 projects as a limit. And the ability to do 2 of the same project. So, for example, I can upgrade 3 items from yellow to orange at the same time. That would have been amazing. Okay, it's taking a while to get used to this setup.
It's not possible.
In theory, what I'm doing right now, spamming fireballs, should be triggering meteors falling from the sky. 17% chance. It's not.
I'll manage that.
Then there's so many skills, like just when one skill is done and it's already time to recast it, another one is done, it's already time to recast it, and then I start. Yeah, this is so tricky to get, such a tricky setup, but I think the damage really adds up. I think all the damage really adds up. Having the damage from Anomaly, the damage from Etelio, and the damage from Solar Fall does add up to a nice setup. I think this actually needs to be made into a damage over time setup rather than direct damage. Because maybe, just maybe, when those things are falling, maybe this counts as damage over time and not direct damage. And this maybe counts as damage over time. Is it sticking? I know this should be counting as damage over time. And this is my only direct damage together with the rage dump. So I'm wondering if this would be nice build for damage over time rather than direct. But since Since it's still direct damage, it's not really damage over time. The damage over time comes after burning the enemy. It comes after burning the enemy, after applying the ailment. So this still benefits from the direct spell damage, not from the ailment damage. So this damage here is not ailment damage, even though it's dealt over time. So it says it deals damage over time, but it doesn't say it deals ailment damage. The ailment damage is separate. So if I get those 40% damage, they're gonna benefit from the burning that gets applied by this damage over time. That's kind of a bit tricky and might confuse people. So I'm probably gonna get this one as well later. Average damage 30%. So if I make the cooldown like this, and then take this, and with the other points take this, that's gonna be super strong. And that means I'm not gonna be spamming the skill every few seconds, like right now. Right now I'm kind of unable to handle all the spamming of this skill, together with all the spamming of this skill. And I just want to make one change. Instead of fireballs, I will make... And instead of projectile damage, actually this benefits from projectile damage, right? Yes, it does. But instead of projectile damage and fireballs, I will still make it a Havoc core build, but with Plague Burst, Fire Plague Burst. Okay, let's invite the person.
Don't be shy. Mojave has everything a soldier needs.
So let's find him some equipment. Melee weapon. This can end up being a strong one. This can end up being a strong one. Fire Frost. This can also end up being a strong one. Physical Toxic. This can end up being a strong one. Wait, do I not have another Sacred Shadow here? That's Physical Shadow, okay. And he probably wants one-handed. Toxic Fire. Think I took any melee. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. This one is work in progress for me. This one is lower level, but it's still not bad. So I'm gonna tell him to upgrade. Just explaining some stuff to the dude. So I hope that was clear enough. I mean, okay. I think that's good enough. And in the meantime, I'm gonna check my rewards.
Ah, you've returned. The city has been growing.
He got free rewards because I forgot to collect them. So free rewards for the dude. Oh, empty-handed seekers. Oh, empty-handed seekers. Second time, really? Useless seekers. What am I paying those seekers for if
There's
they're
no
gonna
need to
come
be
empty-handed?
shy. We go way back, no?
Yeah, that's kind of random for him. So, this item I wanna upgrade, but I don't have the materials right now. So I'm not gonna right now.
Please, look around.
Well, I'm
sure
gonna
you'll
try
find
and do a
something
two-man
that takes
run
your
now.
fancy.
See if I can carry. Ooh, this is something I wouldn't mind upgrading. Transfer time, wife leech. Unfortunately, it's sacred damage, wife leech, but as long as I can
What
get
do you wish my contacts
sacred
to
fat
find for you
somewhere
this
in my
time?
gear, it should be
Seeker
fine.
expedition.
We have a number of diplomats ready to embark on any mission of your choosing.
Back for more? Happy to be of service. You know, just imagining the peril.
Let's try if I can carry two-man 163 with this setup. You have questions about damage types? Sorry, I just got to the chat. So he has questions about damage types. What fat damage he should stack and at rings and amulet weapon. So basically, the fat damage you're stacking in the rings and amulets should be the fat damage you want to do ailments if you're doing for immortal offering build. So let's say I'm using Toxic, Bleed, Sacred and Shadow skills. Toxic, Bleed and Sacred. I'm not, but let's say I'm using them.
Not right now.
Or maybe let's give you an example from my current build. In my current build, my skills are Fire, Aether and Bleeding. I'm using Fire, Aether and Bleeding skills. in my current setup. That means I would need some of the different elements so I can apply more element stacks. So I'm gonna need something that's sacred in the spells or attacks, and I'm gonna need some whitening, and I'm gonna need some sort of shadow, so that I can get more buffs like those from Immortal Offering. But this only applies if you're using Immortal Offering. And at the moment, every build can be much stronger with Immortal Offering compared to without. So there's no reason not to use it right now. Unless you want to prove that you can make a build without it. Which still won't mean that the build would be stronger without it than with it. Because that's extra damage that you're getting right there. So for me, as I said, I need sacred, whitening, etc. like that. But if you don't want to care about Immortal Offering, basically what you do is you pick one type of damage. You pick material damage, you pick occult damage or elemental, and you're focusing on getting flats from this category. So if you want to go elemental, and then you go for fire, ice and whitening. If you want to go occult, you go for sacred, shadow and Aether. And for physical, you probably guessed bleeding, toxic and physical for material. So basically, it depends what build you're doing. It's difficult to say what should I get if I don't know what build you're going after. But look at your items, look at your gear, and see whether your gear gives you more material damage, more occult damage or more elemental damage. Look at the passives as well. Are you using passives that boost occult damage, elemental damage or material damage? So whatever is getting boosted by your passives, you want to get those flats if you're not going for an Immortal Offering build. I hope this was kind of making things clear about damage types. Feel free to ask more questions as well if anything else is not clear. I'm gonna get back to them as soon as I can. But yeah, damage types might be a bit tricky, but once you've played enough with it, you start understanding how they work. As long as you know there's 9 damage types and 3 categories, and you might want to be either stacking one category or you might want to be getting every single one that can do damage over time. There's 7 that can do damage over time and 2 that cannot. Freezing doesn't do damage over time, and so does stunning, which is the physical. So physical and ice you do not need for Immortal Offering builds. Because they can't give you a buff. They don't do ailment stacks. I hope this was kind of clear. And that's probably gonna be my last map for today, because it's 12:14. So let's say by the time I'm done with this map, it's probably gonna be midnight, depending. But I'm liking this fire setup. I mean, I wish it wasn't a setup centered around Havocorp again, but I couldn't find a better rage dump for this. And I'm not using attack damage weapon, I'm using... Oh, I couldn't rescue him on time. Didn't even notice he died. My bad. Now I have to exit combat and get him rest. So now I don't even need the willpower potion that much, I guess. Or do I? The idea was to be using fireball, but I can't keep up the energy and the willpower if I'm using fireball instead of what's its name, Havocorp. So increased willpower cost, okay.
Not happy. That can't be done.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely needs blocks and block efficiency and stuff. Or a golem, he could use a golem. But since he's using a two-hander, it's gonna be a bit difficult for him to survive without resist and without dire juncture.
I can't do that.
I'm not liking the delay on potions, because the way you get potions here is you drink them. You physically drink the potion. So your character stops any attacks they're doing and makes an animation of drinking the potion. I like that this is like this, but I also don't like it sometimes, because I can't drink the potion immediately if I'm in the middle of an animation of a skill. But it looks more realistic, but it's a game. Not all games need to be realistic if it's like a water fantasy game like that. But I understand why they made it like this. It looks nice. It looks nice to have the character actually drinking the potion, stopping their attack and drinking it. And sometimes I'm spamming skills and then I'm spamming the potion and the potion doesn't get used because I'm spamming the skills and the skill gets triggered before the potion, so yeah.
Can't manage that.
And look at all the fire I'm doing. Death from above. There's 3 skills that come from the sky. Actually one of them is on the ground, but 2 from the sky. That are fire. And then there's normally another one that's on the ground. I'm focusing all the AoE in one place.
Can't manage that.
I can do one more thing. I can switch my pistol to do less crits and less spell damage, but be doing more damage with the Havoc Orb.
It's not possible.
Look at all the fire. I so wish there was a nice caster one-handed weapon. I mean, we can still craft ourselves caster one-handed weapons, but so much more difficult than making a one-handed melee weapon. And the willpower generation is still kind of difficult without a hybrid build. Even with 3 golems, I've tested it with 3 golems, I still don't get enough willpower generation to be able to spam a skill the same way I can spam a skill and keep getting rage with a rage based build. So warriors and rangers still more powerful in the spamming department than pure mage builds. For pure mage builds you want the rage mage legs, and that's limiting you to having to use rage spells with shadow spells for rage cost, so you're still kind of using rage in that setup. And that's very limiting, knowing how weak certain unique items are right now for endgame content of the higher levels after level 140 or so. Actually, let's pull the enemies towards the boss.
I need a breather.
Ah! Fuck. I can't move now. Seriously. I'm not sure why we're getting forced to use a passive skill to be able to dodge through enemies. There's a way to do it, but you have to get a passive in this passive tree. I'm not sure why this is not at the default way it behaves. Dodging. Oh, really? Where? Where? How? How did he get there? He couldn't get there through the enemies. Wings of Ishmir, dude. Wings of Ishmir, if you're watching. Wings of Ishmir definitely helps. With Wings of Ishmir you can jump over enemies. I mean, I can't play a melee build without Wings of Ishmir unless it's some weird setup that's using Aether Jump. I would either be using Aether Jump, Wings of Ishmir, or Warpath. One of those three skills I would have in my melee setup for mobility.
It's not possible.
Well, I'm gonna have to kill the boss, otherwise I'm not gonna exit combat, I think.
I need more power.
Oh no, this boss can bug me. In that exact same spot this boss once pulled me into the environment. So I'm gonna have to approach him from this way to avoid getting glitched into the environment. Otherwise I'm getting put into the environment and it's super glitchy. Like here, into those spikes. Once that boss pulled me into those spikes. It was super annoying. Okay. Whiting him build, renting build. So I'm spamming a lot of spells. Look at the cooldowns. Constantly having to use one spell. I mean, I can probably use the shots, the rockets once, and then it's time to cast a spell. Or two sometimes at the same time, like now. I'm not sure how much better that is than just using the rockets. Did I go out of combat? I did, and he should have rest now. Okay.
Gotta catch my breath.
I really wish there was something better for dumping my rage. I mean, I could switch to a dagger and use bleeding catch and make it fire and have that all fire setup. But I did go for a projectile kind of setup for this, so this fits well, because it's a projectile. Instead of fireballs, I'm just using this. And I wanted a setup that would allow me to spam fireball, but that's not gonna be it. Boss map. Well, it's 26 past midnight, so I'm gonna sell and then then that's probably gonna be it. Ooh, 515. So 85% and 195 watt. Not bad, not bad.
Ah, a customer. Welcome to my humble stand.
He wanted
I'll be
ferocity
here when
items.
you need me, friend.
And Zangetsu wants a bow with ailment damage and flat damage. Bow with ailment and flat. Damn, I don't even know I've got many bows. Ailment and flat, bow. Bow with ailment and flat. I mean, I've only got this one. Material ailment chance, but not ailment damage. Mine is also kind of shit, I guess. I've only been keeping this bow because of the sockets. That's the main reason. Oh, I've got those here. Ailment chance, material damage, physical damage. Nothing too fancy though, nothing too fancy. But this one gives you anomaly, so it goes well with some bow builds. Anomaly with that. Oh, caps lock. Let's give him the shoulder. He said he wanted bruiser gear. That's high level. So that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. So yeah, folks, I have to end this now. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. This would be it for tonight. Streamed a little bit of Last Epoch, streamed a little bit of this. There will be more tomorrow, not sure of which game, but it will be some sort of Wooter again. Keep it cool. Until next time, and goodbye.